I don't know if anybody's ready. Okay, now I think we're ready.
Okay.
Okay.
Hello, my name's Alvin. We're going to be doing puzzles today.
Okay. Well, when we do puzzles for tactics time, we describe what our thoughts are. So we've got a puzzle on the screen, we're ready to go, and you just kind of tell everybody what you're thinking about. Okay, over here.
Rook D7.
Rook D7. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, actually, maybe we could practice how to do puzzles because I don't know that we've done
Or
it.
knight takes C6.
Knight takes E.
Rook takes C6.
Yeah. So let's do this because I don't think we've practiced how to solve puzzles in a good while. Okay. The way that we want to approach puzzles is puzzles are a little different than regular games because when you're in a regular game, you can keep track of who's winning. You know, when you lose a piece, you know that you're losing. You know, puzzles are different because we're plopped right down into the middle of a problem, and we don't know what's going on. So first, we need to figure out who's winning. Like, what's the material situation? Okay. So can we figure out the material situation? Who's got more material?
It's equal.
Okay, that's not correct. Can you look again?
Black's winning.
Okay, explain.
Well, first, their king is in the corner, but with like 1,000 pieces.
No.
Sort of.
When I say we need to figure out who has more materials, like we really just need to count who has more points worth of material.
Like more pieces?
No, not more pieces, more points of pieces, right? You could have 8 rooks and I could have 8 pawns. You're winning. We have the same number of pieces, but you're winning because you have rooks and I only have pawns, right? So we need to count. And the way that we do that to assess the material is we kind of just ignore the things that both sides have, right? So we both have 2 rooks. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Do you need to go to the bathroom?
Why are we doing this?
All right, you following me? Okay. So we just kind of ignore the things that both of us have. So you're looking over here. Look over here. Okay? Look at the position with me. If you need to go to the bathroom and blow your nose, you can do that. We're having a detour. But I can explain in his absence, and we'll catch back up, that both sides have 2 rooks, so we kind of ignore that. Both sides have a queen, both sides have a knight. Both sides have 1 bishop, but black has an extra bishop. And if we do it a pawn count, black has 3, white has 4. So black has an extra bishop, and they're only down a pawn for it. So that's would be +2 on just a basic material count. And if rook takes knight, that would only give us, we give white +1, which in puzzle land is not enough to successfully complete the puzzle, because the puzzle should be +2 or more. In other words, they should be clearly winning, and rook takes knight would not be clearly winning. Okay, got it?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Black's up a bishop.
yeah, black's up a bishop. Actually, he's White has an extra pawn, if you'll notice. White has 4 and black has 3. If you need to go and blow your nose in the bathroom, you can do that.
Why did you say that 2 times?
Well, you keep putting your hands in your nose, and I think people are going to be turned off by that if they're watching you on video. You're picking your nose the whole time.
No, I'm not.
Okay, well then stop rubbing your nose.
Okay.
All right. So you're right. Black has an extra bishop, but white has 4 pawns, black has 3 pawns, right? So there's like a bishop for a pawn. Now, any good puzzle is going to result in you having at least 2 points of material. In other words, you're up and you're clearly winning, or it could be like a checkmate, right? And so it's really, really useful to know what the material situation is because black's already up 2 points. So if we take that knight, how many points will white be up? 1 point. Is that enough? No. So just by checking the material, we know that rook takes knight's probably not it. Okay. So that's the first thing we do is we check the material. Okay. What's the first thing we do?
Check the material.
Okay. Can you explain how to do that?
Well, you look how many pieces there are, and you also look what kind, and if they have an extra thing, then they have more material.
That's right. And that's how you figured out they had an extra bishop, right? And the next thing we do is we have to figure out what kind of moves we should think about. So we call this our candidate move list. Which moves should we be thinking about? Now, in tactics, you really want to be thinking about your forcing moves. Things that force your opponent to do something. For example, if you check your opponent, there's a rule in chess that says they have to get out of check, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, come this way. Scooch, scooch, scooch. Scooch, scooch, scooch. Get close here. So they have to get out of check. That's a rule, right? So that's very forcing. Your opponent has to respond to the check. Another type of forcing move is a capture. Because if you take a piece and your opponent doesn't take back, you're going up material. And material is the most important advantage in chess. So they don't necessarily have to take back, but most of the time they do. Otherwise, they're going down material, right? So it's not as forcing as a check because they're not required to take back, but it's still pretty forcing. So those are captures. So we've talked about checks, we've talked about captures, and there's another type of forcing move, and that is what I call threats. If you've heard Sean talk about it, he'll say attacks, right? Where you attack a stronger piece with a weaker piece, right? And so we can come up with a list of moves we should be thinking about by just making a list of our checks, captures, and threats, okay? So in this position, we're going to look at it with fresh eyes. We know that black is up 2 points, and we want to first think of all of our checks. So I'm going to hand it off to you to tell everybody where all the checks are.
Knight g6, queen takes h7.
Uh-huh. Any others? Say no.
No.
All right, now we're going to look at captures. Now, you already said queen takes h7, so we've got that one already. We don't need to put it in our list anymore. What other captures?
Bishop takes e4.
Uh-huh.
Rook takes c6.
Right. I see one more.
Queen takes f7.
Yeah, queen takes f7, right? Queen takes queen, another way of saying it. And I think those are all the captures. And so now we're just looking for threats. And you said one earlier, rook d7, I think. And I want to show you, I do think that there are a couple of other threats, even though they're kind of silly. I want to show them to you, okay? There is rook to f6. It seems silly, right? Because we're clearly hanging the rook when we play that. There's also knight to e6 attacking the rook on f8, which also seems pretty silly because we're hanging our queen when we play that. Okay, but sometimes these silly moves can be useful puzzle pieces when we're trying to figure out what the right answer is. So, okay, we may not start by calculating those moves, but we want to know that they exist just in case. Okay. So now we've talked about checks, captures, and threats, and we know what all the moves we could be looking at in this position are. Which one do you want to calculate first? Did any of those that you named jump out to you as something that might be fun to try?
Bishop b4.
Come again?
Bishop b4.
Bishop takes e4. Okay. What happens next?
Knight b4.
Knight b4. Okay, so you're saying he just rescues the knight?
Yeah, he does that. And then...
He could do a lot of things, couldn't he?
Yeah.
He doesn't have to play knight b4. He could play knight e7. That was the one that looked the best to you? Wouldn't taking a knight be better than taking a pawn?
Yeah, but then you're only going to be up 1 point.
Right. So if we take a pawn, we won't even be up any points. And I don't see a good follow-up because even though the bishop aims at the h7 square, there's no checkmate there. You see, the bishop on g8 defends the h7 square. You see that? So it's doing a good job of stopping our threat of mate. Let's go back to our list of 4 C moves, and let's start with checks. Was there a check you really want to look at?
For some reason, I wanted to look at, actually, knight g6.
Okay, knight g6. Is that checkmate?
No, queen takes.
Is that forced? Does he have to do that?
Well, yeah.
Why? Well, you just take him with the pawn.
No, he'd be in check.
Right, because that pawn is...
Pinned.
Yeah, the pawn is pinned. Okay, so he can't take your knight with the pawn. He has to take it with the queen, isn't it?
And then I take his queen.
What?
So knight, g6,
right.
Queen takes, rook takes queen.
Yeah, but then pawn takes rook.
That can't happen.
Oh, why not?
Because of the queen! It's, the pawn is pinned by the queen!
Okay, do you want to look at anything else, or do you think you've got the right answer?
I think I've got the right answer.
All right, show everybody. Go ahead.
Wait.
You can play it. You use the mouse. No. Use the mouse to actually play it. There you go. Ooh, okay. Hey, there you go. All right. Let's move on to the next one. And we've been going for about 13 minutes. What do we have here? Okay. Now, first thing we got to do is what?
I already see a pin.
It's not the okay. Okay, you probably already see it, but let's go through the process anyway, just so everybody watching can understand. Okay. So, what's the first thing we do?
Rook g1.
Hang on a second. What's the first thing we do when we look at a puzzle?
Checks.
No. Very first thing.
Material.
Material, right? Yeah. So who's winning? Who's got more material?
White.
Okay, and why?
Because he has 2 rooks, and black has a rook and a knight.
Yeah. Now black has an extra pawn as a little bit of compensation, but you're right. White is +1 at least, right? Okay. And so then we look at what? We build our candidate moves list, and how do we do that? Tell everybody. Remember the 3?
Checks, captures, threats.
All right, say it loud and confident.
Checks, captures, and threats.
That's right, because we're teaching other people about this process too, right? And can you tell me your checks?
Rook G1.
Uh-huh.
Rook D2.
Yeah. What do you think about rook D2?
It just takes the rook.
It's silly, right? Okay. What about your captures? You got one.
Rook G3.
Yeah, rook takes G3. We didn't even see that move because you found it with you found the right answer so quickly, right? And then what about threats?
Oh, rook G1.
No, that's a check. We don't need to name it again. How about a threat?
King D7.
Yeah, king D7, attacking your rook. There's just one more threat. Well, maybe two more. I would say...
Knight C2.
Yeah, knight C2. And actually, rook B2 is also a threat. Threatening the B3 pawn, but it seems a little silly because, why are we... We can already take the G3 pawn. Why are we moving across the board and threatening another pawn? It's just silly. So yeah, the forcing moves can be kind of silly sometimes, but it helps you build your board vision. You'll be able to see more tools that you have in your little toolkit to get a winning puzzle. But I think you're right that this one's pretty straightforward. Can you tell everybody what the right answer is and what happens next?
Rook G1, King E2, or King D2.
Right.
And then rook takes rook.
Great.
And then they're just up a knight.
Fantastic. All right, so you want to play it?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, try again. There you go. Look at that. Personal number of rated tactic problems correct in a row. You got 2 in a row. All right, maybe let's do one more and then we'll sign off, okay? All right, can you go through the process?
Black is up a little.
Black is up a little. What do you mean?
A little bit of material.
I don't
It's
think you're right.
because the bishop and the knight. Bishop.
Okay, so you think everything's equal except black has a bishop is slightly better than the knight. Okay, well you're really mincing the value of the pieces. That's a very, very slim difference, right? It's almost completely equal because how we normally say bishop's worth 3 and knight's worth 3. Even though you're right, bishop's a little bit better than the knight. So it's almost equal. So okay, any kind of winning of a piece here is going to work for us. So what do we do next?
We'll look at our checks.
Mm-hmm. Checks, captures, and threats to build our move list. So what do we look at?
The only one is rook d8.
Rook d8, the only check. Okay. How about captures?
Queen takes queen. Rook takes a7.
Uh-huh.
Knight takes e5.
Mm-hmm.
Hangs the bishop though. Hangs the knight.
Hangs the knight, yeah, it looks kind of silly, but we know it's there. What else?
And then rook f7.
Right. Which is also kind of silly, but we know it's there.
And then queen a6.
Queen what?
a6.
Queen a6 and one more? Did you say queen takes queen already?
Yeah.
You did? Okay. So I must have missed that. And then we have threats. Those are hard to see in this position. Although I guess technically...
There's one threat. Pawn b5. That's pretty much the
Well,
only one I
b5 would
can
be
see.
illegal. Not on the starting square. I think there are a couple of threats here. They look like rook d6.
Yeah.
Rook c7, which seems completely ridiculous. You also have knight d4, which seems completely ridiculous. But those are, maybe on a different day with a different puzzle would be useful. All right, so we've looked at your checks, captures, and threats. What would you like to think of first?
Rook D6.
Rook D6, okay. What would black play?
Well,
What would he play?
he would play Rook Queen D5 or Queen B7
Okay,
or Queen C7.
yeah, so he could move the queen to safety. He could also trade queens with you, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Are we going anywhere with that? You see any follow-up to that? Because you played that move and you gave black a lot of options. Usually tactics are very, very narrow. Like you do something and your opponent only has one move. Right? You play Rook D6 and he has a lot of options, including...
Queen takes queen.
Okay, queen takes queen.
Rook takes queen.
Uh-huh.
And then rook takes pawn.
Yeah, I mean, you could do that, but you're only getting 1 point, right? So let's go back and think about our most forcing moves. The check. What was the check?
Rook D8.
Right, and what would he do?
Oh, well, they can't take the rook.
Oh, why not?
That thing is queen.
Okay, so he'll just play what?
Well, bishop F8.
Bishop
or,
F8 or
Or queen, king H7.
King H7. Well, let's look at King H7 first, just to see that. What would you play next?
I might be knight for some reason for a...
No, we're not trying to hang stuff. So the line for everybody watching is Rook D8, then King H7. And there's a very good move here. Some more checks, captures, and threats.
Well, queen takes queen.
Queen takes queen, and then what does black play?
Well, rook C8.
Well, the rook's already on C8.
Rook takes queen.
Where it takes queen, and then what does white play?
Rook takes F7.
No. Okay. Let's pretend that black had played bishop F8 instead, because he didn't have to play King H7. What if he had played bishop F8? What would you play now?
I just forgot all of the pieces.
Okay. If you
I would play rook D8.
Rook D8. Okay. And then Queen F8. Or excuse me. So let's start the line over just so that we're not getting confused. White plays Rook D8 check. Black plays Bishop to F8, blocking the check. Then what? You had already said Queen takes Queen. And Rook takes Queen. And then what does White play?
Knight takes E5.
No, sir. No, sir. We're not trying to hang a knight.
That's not hanging a knight. The bishop's right here.
You got me. You're right. But you're very, very tuned into taking pawns in a position where it's not called for. You have something better you can take. It's not a... So, this puzzle requires you to see 3 moves into the future. So we have to think about These pieces are moving. They're not going to stay on their starting squares, so we have to be able to visualize what the board looks like as these pieces are moving, okay? So follow along with me here. We have rook d8. Don't point, because you're not allowed to do that. You don't want to do that in a real chess game. You'd be telling your opponent exactly what you're thinking about, right? So we're just going to look at it. But we can talk about it, because that'll be like our thinking in our head, right? So we play rook d8, bishop f8, queen takes queen, rook takes queen. Do you see those pieces moving?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you see what you can take now?
Oh.
What?
Queen takes rook.
What?
Ah.
What takes what?
Trade my queen.
Yeah, that's right. So rook d8.
Is it? No, that can't be it.
What?
I thought I was gonna hang my rook for a bishop.
Okay. I need you to follow along here. Let's look at this. Look at the position, and we're going to try and visualize what happens. Okay. So I'm going to say the move and tell me when you got it. Okay. Rook d8.
Yeah.
Bishop f8.
Yeah.
Queen takes queen. Rook takes queen. And now white has a move. What's the move?
I don't know.
Okay.
Oh, that rook is
Which rook?
that rook. It's
Okay.
rook takes b8.
Rook takes b8. And is that good for white?
Good for white
Why?
because it's free.
Yeah, it's a free rook, right? And actually, this is a very common pattern in a lot of puzzles, that a queen that's supported by a rook back here, where you can give a check, just like you did in d8, can win that queen because it deflects the rook away from the support of the queen. All right, you ready to play it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And there oh, he took the rook. We didn't see that coming, but we said he couldn't do that because...
Queen takes
Yeah.
queen.
And of course, the line that we were looking at, just to show everybody, was here. And then you were saying bishop f8. Okay, I'm not sure that's the best move. Probably king h7 is a little better. But the point is that when we take here, this rook is actually pinned. So when he takes, we get a free rook. And also you can see why I thought king h7 is a little better, because in the last position we still have this bishop pinned and this pawn is hanging. So he probably would have preferred to do king h7, but okay. Losing either way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any move is just bad.
That's right. All right. Sign everybody off. Today, that's been Alvin Tactics time. And say goodbye to everybody.
You already said that.
No. You have to say it. You're the star of the show.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. You have to say it. You're the star of the show. Oh, you got your dork shirt on, too. This is perfect, since we're doing chess. All right. Say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody. They have control now.